Welcome back to Life Lessons. My name is Harry Fra, and today we'll be making one of man's greatest discoveries, fire. To start your fire, you can use some paper or a fire lighter, but this is Life Lessons, so I've torn up some paper to make some long strips, so we'll use that as our fire lighter. Some kindling, which are just short, thin piece of wood that'll burn really easily because they're thin, and some long matches so I don't burn my fingers. The most important thing with making a fire is using dry twigs and logs, because if you use wet logs then your fire won't light. It's quite windy outside, so we'll do it in the log burner, but we'll show you how to do it in there, but the principle's the same. There are many different ways of starting or loading a fire, but my favourite is the Jenga method. So if you ever played it, the way you lay the kindling down is a bit like Jenga. So you'll do 2 there, and then 2 on top, and then 2 more, and you're creating a hole in the middle so you can put your paper in, or fire lighter, and then you keep layering them up, and then I'll show you what I mean. So here we go with the kindling, getting our 2 pieces, laying them down, creating a hole, and then we'll get 2 more, layer them across, and so on and so forth. Before you make your Jenga tower too high, you want to get your paper or a fire lighter, and you want to just place it into the middle. We've now got all our paper into the Jenga tower, and then we'll get a few more bits and lay them over to create like a roof. So there's a few more slightly bigger bits that I'll lay across the other way. These bits are touching the floor and going up the top a little bit like a teepee over the top. Now let's light our fire. Today we're using matches, but you could use a lighter, which you just click. If you want to go real hardcore, you could use some flint and steel. With a flint and steel though, you have to have space to strike it, and there's not really enough space for my arms to go in there. But that'll be good for if you're outdoors on an expedition, because it doesn't matter if it gets wet, and it's a real fun thing to try and do. I'm using some long matches today so that I can show you without burning my fingers. Remember, when you light a match, hold it down here so that when you light it, your match doesn't snap. But once it's lit, hold it back down the end. If you hold it up, it will go out. If you hold it down, it will go mental. If you hold it in the middle though, that's just about right, and it will burn very nicely. Once you've lit your paper, oh no, the paper's not lit. Get the match into the middle so that it burns all the paper. And then let go. And give that a couple of seconds. Don't be tempted to poke it too much, and it soon should be roaring. The 3 elements to making fire are heat, fuel, and oxygen. I've shut one of the doors to create a draft to flow the oxygen in. If I shut the other door, like this, it'll give it more of a draft, and it'll get it going. You can see the flames starting to really jump around. You could, if you want, blow on it, but it's better to save yourself from sticking your head in the fire. As I open the door, you'll see the flames calm down a bit. That's just about ready to lay some more stuff on. So, the way you'll do it, you'll get 2 big battens, and you're basically just creating another huge Jenga. So 1 either side, and then you'll put some more logs on top, because if you put them right on the top, then it will just kill the fire. So you want to create like another big Jenga. The door can sometimes get hot, so you can use a heat-proof glove, or you can use the wood. And fires extremely hot, So be very careful when you put them in. We've got a nice fire in the middle and our 2 Jenga pieces on either side. That's the second layer, and now that there's some air gaps underneath, we can lay some more wood on the top. See that I've placed that right across the middle? It's killed the fire a bit. So I'll move it to the side and you'll see it roar again. As we mentioned earlier, that's because we reduced the oxygen that could get. As you lay your fire up, make sure you have lots of air gaps. I'll put my last pieces of wood on. Then what?
Go.
And then we'll get the doors closed. Blip. Again, I've left the second door a little ajar, sort of get that draft in and get it going. If you see the flames are going that way, because the draft is coming in and curving round. But if you switch the doors, so you do this one with a draft, the flames go the other way. By adjusting the draft, you can move the fire from left to right. We'll leave that for 5 minutes till it's properly roaring, so we can get our big logs on. Once it's really roaring, you can start putting some bigger logs on. This would also be the time if you're outside to get some big chunky logs on as well. We'll use our spanner to open the door, because the door will probably be getting quite hot. And then we're going to lay this one carefully in the middle. We'll put the other ones down the left and right. Hear it fizzing and popping. Then we'll shut the doors up. That's your fire done. And this day we'll close the door, and that'll be good for another maybe 1 or 2 hours till you can top it back up again. Thanks for watching Life Lessons. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next video. Stay safe.